Sure, you can always shop around for flooring, but in the end, it all leads back to the one place you probably should have started, the experts at Carpet One. Save yourself the time and the hassle and let Carpet One help you find the right product at the right price. Beautifully installed, guaranteed. Come see the One, Carpet One, on the Business Loop in Columbia.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Friday, January the 15th. We're going to talk about two treasures in our community today, the Boone County Historical Society and the Columbia Art League. How do you like that for an introduction?
Perfect.
All right, let's start first of all with Chris Campbell. Good to have you here, Chris.
Thanks, Paul. It's good to be here.
Boone County Historical Society, and I do mean that sincerely. Both organizations are treasures in our community. Now, you came in here and you said, I've got a list of events that I want to... Go ahead. So go into those.
We've got like 5 things going on in the next 10 days. It starts tomorrow morning with another great Meet the Author event. We're going to be featuring someone who's been on your show, Svetlana Grobin, with The Education of a Traitor growing up in Cold War Russia. So
she's an interesting lady.
I know.
She was on here last year,
Yep.
and the story she tells is captivating.
I know. We're going to have her for an hour tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. out of the museum, so I can't wait for that. This weekend is the last weekend of a great art exhibit by a couple of wonderful local artists, Laura Pintel and Rebecca Douglas, and it's been one of our most popular art exhibits in easily 2-3 years. That's the feedback I'm getting. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's the last chance to come see that. Monday night, we open our 2016 Blind Boone Piano Concert Series with the return of a great Dixieland jazz band, backed by popular demand. So that's Monday night at 7 o'clock. And then later, in about 10 days' time, we open a new art exhibit by Dr. Jane Mudd from Fulton, whom you probably know. She's going to bring a wonderful show of landscapes and portraits, paintings and drawings, and that's going to open on the 28th of January.
Yeah.
And we've got also an ongoing, really marvelous history exhibit called I Remember Downtown Columbia, 1930s to 1965.
I saw that when I was in there about a month or so ago. And the photographs are beautiful. Where did you come up with all of this?
Most of those photographs are in our own permanent collection. A few others were borrowed or on loan from the State Historical Society or a few individuals, but we've got a large collection of photographs of downtown Columbia. The exhibit's called I Remember Downtown Columbia, 1930s to 1960s.
The late 1960s or the mid-90s?
About 65.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is largely photographic imagery, but there's a lot of wonderful artifacts from downtown businesses through those decades. It's really neat.
Yeah. And if people want more information about everything that you have going on, the website address is what?
BooneHistory.org.
And are you still doing the recorded history, the audio recorded history of longtime Boone County residents?
We're going to get back to that. It's not been done in a couple of years, but we're trying to ramp that back up again.
Yes, because I think that is wonderful. And when you think 30 years from now, 40 years from now, 50 years from now, for people to come in and hear their grandfather or grandmother or great-grandmother and grandfather tell in their own words the history of this area.
Yeah. It's special, and we're going to bring that back.
Okay, if somebody wants to participate in that, can they just call the Historical Society?
Absolutely, 443-8936, or just email Chris Campbell at boonehistory.org.
Okay, Chris, thank you so much for coming by.
Thanks, Paul.
All right, we'll get you back soon. Now, my other friend over here, Diana Moxon from the Columbia Art League, another treasure in our community.
Like you are, Paul. Just a table of treasures here today, isn't it?
It's getting kind of deep here, isn't it? A table of treasures. What have you got going on with the Art League?
We have our first show of 2016 opening officially tomorrow night. So the opening reception is 6 till 8 at the Columbia Art League, and it's free and open to everybody. And the show is called Inside Voices.
Inside Voices.
So my inspiration for Inside Voices was the Pixar movie called Inside Out that came out last year, which is the animated film of the little girl, all the voices in her head. She had sadness and happy and joy. And so I thought, well, that's kind of a fun idea for a show, that we all have these emotions and we all have had the voices in our head, that, you know, the happy voice and the sad voice and the disgusted voice. And so having an art show where people can play on that idea of emotions and the what evokes certain emotions. So there'll be probably some portraiture and maybe some landscapes that inspires, great joy in people. So who knows? Like all of our shows, there's a little bit of everything. So that's
and it's
always
called
fun to
Inside
see.
Voices.
Inside Voices.
And it will run how long?
It will run from this Saturday or tomorrow, officially, through till February the 19th.
Okay, so people have a little bit of time to
yeah.
come in and see it.
Plenty of time. And we're kind of right now, we have no passing traffic because of the big building site next to us where Shakespeare's used to be. So don't be afraid of walking down that little bit of sidewalk and popping in to see the Art League, because otherwise people keep crossing over the road. So.
Okay, so you have to, because of the construction, you have to walk down a little bit of sidewalk.
A little bit of pavement.
And then pop in, as she says it.
Exactly.
Pop into the Art League.
Exactly. So that's going on. And then we have some great classes coming up too. So I know a lot of people, their New Year's resolution is to get more creative. So if they want to get more creative, we have a couple of great introduction to art basic classes coming up this month. So on January the 28th, which is a Thursday, and running for 6 weeks, we've got an introduction to drawing. So that's a good fundamental ground course.
So that's a class once a week?
Once a week.
Introduction to drawing.
Right, and it's in the evening, so you can come after work. It's a couple of hours.
What time?
I think it's 6 till 8.
Okay. If you can't make the first week or the second week, can you join it mid-course, or is it something you really...
You can miss one. I mean, it doesn't really matter if you miss one, but I think, you need to...
You don't get demerits for it.
If you miss 2, you might be hopping in a little bit late, but, if you miss one or so, that's fine.
Okay, so that starts when? January 28th?
That's January the 28th.
Yeah.
And then also on that same week, but on the Tuesday, the 26th, we have one called a Principles of Composition. So again, it's a great introduction, foundation class where you look at, what makes a good painting or a good drawing. How do you lay all your visions out, or your view, and all the component parts.
Is this a 6-week class too?
Also a 6-week class.
Yeah. And some people are just so talented, they don't need a class. They just...
Right, some people are amazing.
It just pops out of your head.
It is. So we have some advanced classes too. We have kind of an oil painting class, and we have a cold wax class.
You're doing an oil painting class.
We do all sorts. So yeah, so there's lots of things to do. But if you're a beginner and your idea is I want to get more creative, then one of those 2 classes might be a good introduction to art. And they're only 6 weeks, so it's not like a lifetime commitment. You can do a few weeks and see how it goes.
So how do they sign up for these classes?
They go to columbiaartleague.org, or www, as you like to say, columbiaartleague.org, and then they go to the classes page and they can sign up online, or as they're walking down the sidewalk and popping into the Art League, they can come and sign up in person.
You do it in person. You'll get out your big ledger.
That's right. Grab a paintbrush. Or you can do it over the phone. You can just give us a call on 443-8838. Yes, there is a charge. It's $120 for CAL members and $140 for non-members.
Oh, but that's very reasonable.
Very reasonable. $20 for a class.
And Diana Moxon, you'll be there.
Of course, Paul.
And you'll get to see the different hairstyles of each day. It changes just a little bit.
It does.
Diana, thank you so much for coming by. Always a pleasure having you here from the Columbia Art League. Tomorrow, Hickman High School Musical. Actually, Monday, we have the Hickman High School Musical on. Our program directed by Travis McMillen, Reynolds Journalism Institute. Audio is Pat Akers, KVIA. Our floor director, Rachel Gangwere, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mouse.